So I've made some decisions, and I am now going to measure the inside and the outside of this to kind of make it even. Then I'm going to cut my styrofoam with this handy little electric foam cutting tool. Now I've used this many times in the past, and I've actually put links on some of our other videos and things as to where you can get this on Amazon. It's a really cheap item. It's under $20, at least it was when I bought it. And it is a fabulous tool. I use it for so many things. Just comes with these little pieces that you, here's your little handle, your cutter that you just plug into that, and you plug your little handle in, and then you make sure that you have electric power, which I don't think we do, so I do need to go plug in my stuff. And then once that's done, you just use it to cover. Well, actually, I can't tell. All right, now I feel like an idiot because I'm like, I can't see if this little light is glowing or not. I suppose if it gets hot and cuts styrofoam in just a few minutes, then we'll know that I have electricity. Otherwise, I'm going to go figure out where the fault is in my electrical chain. All right, so a minute ago I measured this to go on the inside, so now I'm going to change that. Measure it to go on the outside. There's all our planes. It's like we live in a freaking war zone here. I've said this many times, but with the construction going on around us and the planes and the gardeners with their blowing machines and just everything else, there are times when it's very hard to do anything out here. Alright, I'm just going to measure that up as close as I can. Use the natural styrofoam edge to do it with. Okay. Alright, let me figure out then why I don't have power. Okay, so now I have power. My little light is on for sure. I don't want to be strapped down to this mic the whole time, so I've just put it on this can. And then hopefully you'll be able to hear me. I'll try and talk as loud as I can. Actually, I won't talk as loud as I can because I can talk pretty loud. Alright, so I've marked my styrofoam. And now I'm just going to cut it. I'm going to use a... excuse me as I try and figure out what I'm doing. I'm going to just use a... metal ruler, and I'm a full body crafter. When I'm here by myself, I use my arms, my legs, my feet, my shoulders, whatever I need to make things work the way I need them to work. So here's the cutter. You can see it's kind of smoking a little bit. It's got some stuff left over on it. I just start at the end, just go along my ruler. So I'm just going to glue this styrofoam down with weld bond. This is the best stuff that I've found, and I've mentioned this in several different videos, but this stuff is amazing. It sticks everything. Anything I've ever wanted to craft with, this sticks. It sticks on wood, it sticks on styrofoam, styrofoam to styrofoam, styrofoam to wood, pretty much anything. Something else I recently discovered is this industrial grate stuff with a gun. So, you know, you buy the grate stuff in cans and you can use it once, and then the little sprayer doesn't work anymore, and the little tube and all that kind of crap. And it's really expensive. This stuff is a lot cheaper. It's Pro. It doesn't come with a nozzle, so you have to get this little gun. This little gun's like 15 bucks. And it just fits on the can. Has a little valve that you open and close. When you're done using it, close the valve, turn it this way, spray out whatever extra is in here, and you can continue to use the can. So the can's not wasted. I've been using this can for about 2 months now. Haven't used it all up yet, but it's great. First time we did it, we had some issues and weren't sure 100% what we were doing. We didn't commit. You have to commit. When you're putting the can on the gun, you really have to commit. If you don't commit, it's going to go everywhere and it's going to be a mess. So just open my little valve, push my little thingy, and this is awesome stuff. So easy to use now. Just goes along the wood. It's counterintuitive to the fact that you would think that with a spray can, you would have the heavy part down and then you would use the gun this way. It actually goes this way, which when the can's full is a little counterproductive, and I do find that I sometimes have to hold the can while I'm doing this just to get a good thing. But I imagine if you're a strong burly man or a strong burly female or even a petite strong female, then you probably wouldn't have that issue, but I am none of those things and therefore have to hold the can when I do this. So I think that actually makes me happy, having that inside there like that. Out of the way. Now the issue is I won't be able to do it on the other side unless I put my glue down. Make sure this fits first. Yep. I'm going to put my glue down, then I'm actually going to put a little bit of great stuff just along the edges here as an added, I'm going to open my glue, as an added bit of security, especially since this piece has a little screwy thing on it that is probably going to make this not fit flush. And no, I'm not going to deal with taking the screwy thing out. I said screwy. Right. And I'm just going to do this like really close to the edge here. Or possibly on the edge. And you can actually probably use this as glue as well, and I do that quite a lot. I use great stuff as glue for styrofoam. So the fact that I'm going over the edge is not going to hurt it that much. Just give me a little added strength to the actual wood glue. Although I will say you do not want to get the great stuff on your fingers. Trust me, it does not come off ever. It literally takes like a month for this stuff to wear off of your hands. I think I still have some from like when I was doing Halloween. My fingernail just had to grow out. That was all there was to it. Okay, so I have that on there. I think I'm going to, let's just go all the way across. Yes. I just use everything in my yard as something. I'm going to put that on there. And I'm going to put this heavy can of paint. Well, that's a disaster waiting to happen. All right, I'm going to put that heavy can of paint on top. You know what? No. I'm going to do that so it's all the way to the edges. I'm going to use this other piece. Now I'm going to put the heavy can of paint on top. Ta-da! And that should give it enough force for everything to dry in both pieces. Alright, so there's the first part of my snake dude. Christmas tree package eating snake. So I'm going to let this dry. I'm going to start cutting out probably for the other one because I'm going to do 2 of these. And then when that's all done, we'll start cutting out the circle and painting it. And then I'll probably put the worm in like last thing after I get all the rest of the stuff done. So that's our bill. Thanks for joining us. Now remember to subscribe and like if you like this video. Even if you don't like this video, there are other videos that you might enjoy more. So be sure and like and subscribe. We need all the help we can get on that, and look for our other videos. Thank you so much. We got this done from yesterday. We put the styrofoam on it. Everything's dry. It's very nice and secure. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure the circle and how I want it to go in. So I'm just kind of eyeballing this. I do a lot of eyeballing, much to the chagrin of the people around me. So I think that's about in the middle. So I'm just going to take my marker, go around it. I'm putting the marker flush so that I can make sure that it's going to be as big as the tubing that's going around it. I mean, if I have to go back and adjust, that's fine. It's no big deal. It's easy enough to do. This styrofoam after all. Alright, so there is my circle for this side. So I'm going to use my handy dandy styrofoam cutting tool. And I'm just going to cut out the circle. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side and then on the other two pieces as well. And then my theory is that I will put the tubing through here and then just kind of maybe seal around it a little bit with probably great stuff. I'm going to paint this black and orange to match that, to make it look like from far away that the worm has swallowed a couple of Christmas presents and they're stuck in his gullet or system. So that's all there is to that. I don't think that you really probably don't need to watch me cut this circle. So we'll move on. Here's my first circle cut out. You can kind of see there. And now I am going to use this circle obviously to cut out and trace the next one. So it's going to put it in the middle there. There's my marker again. Around it. Seriously, so much construction. Good for the neighborhood, bad for me. Alright. So I'm just sticking this right in there. I'm just doing this freehand. Again, it doesn't have to be exact because of what we're doing, so I'm not that worried about it. If you've never cut styrofoam with one of these tools before, something I've discovered is if you kind of go up and down with the tool, it reheats the surfaces. Kind of cleans it off as it's going too. It makes it a little easier to cut. There you go, 2 circles out. I'm going to do the other one. It's a very small table to work on, so I have to constantly adjust things. Chances are my circle's getting bigger and bigger every time because of the way I'm tracing it. But again, just here. Okay, so there's 4 wildly different circle shapes. So now let's see. What would be the easiest way to do this, I think, would be to go in from the top. Oh, look at that. Okay, the circle's a little big. I'm okay with that though. I'd rather it be a little big than a little small. So, I'm going to go about, how much to put through. I thought is I want to get it on an orange and an orange because it's going to be, that way I can paint this black and that'll be easier to do. I gotta remember to talk loud because that mic's over there. Alright, well there's the gist of it. I think it's going to work out great. Once it's painted, I think that's going to be good. I'll probably end up putting just some great stuff around the inside here to kind of keep this in place so it doesn't move around. And then I'll end up painting this black, probably, or striped, as best I can. I think it's going to work great. And that'll also help keep it on my roof. It won't roll off because it'll be attached to these boxes. So if this part rolls off to the side or something, or off the edge, that's fine. It's still going to be anchored with these two boxes. That's going to look really good. I'm excited to see the finished product. So if you enjoyed this video, please be sure and like and subscribe. Watch some of our other how-to videos. Everything's pretty much just done on the fly like this one was. But some nice ideas, some fun things to try at home if you don't have a lot of money, but you have a lot of ambition, which is pretty much describes my entire projects. So thank you so much, and hope you enjoyed Kie and Craig's. So after I had everything, all the styrofoam and everything put in place, I kind of came back with my little tool and I just sanded it. I wanted it to look rounded, so it's not such a sharp package. Excuse me. So I just kind of went in with the tool and rounded all the edges a little bit to match up with everything. Just like that. And I just really like the way that looks better. I also went through and cleaned up the extra great stuff around it. This section that I'm showing you right now is actually the underside, so it's not going to show. But you can kind of see that I did the top gradient in where it was. Kind of blended it in. Once it's painted, it's going to look great. I don't think anybody's going to figure out how we did this. It's going to look pretty good. I'm actually pretty happy with it. And the best part is, in keeping with the Christmas theme, hold your ears because this is going to get loud, but it snows. Seriously, the absolute best part. Now we have our finished Jack Skellington tree snake. Let me just go over a few of the final things that I did on here. Once again, I apologize for the noise. So what I did basically here was I took a coat hanger. This is coat hanger right here. I shaped it the shape I wanted. I sewed my fabric two sides together, turned it inside out, put it over the coat hanger frame. Made a couple of eyeballs just out of ping pong balls glued on there, hot glued on there, because I know that, again, this is going to be so far away from the road that a lot of this stuff isn't going to read. I know up close it looks a little unfinished, but on my roof it's going to look awesome. I hot glued and zip tied. So basically I put a zip tie through the fabric and through a couple of rings of the metal of this tubing. Zip tied on both ends and hot glued everything back in the middle along this way. Did the same thing on the bottom. Zip ties on both sides. Again, there's the bottom jaw as well. And then what I did is I had this stuffed bear from like a fair or something that someone had given me. It was in really bad shape. It was really filthy and everything. So I took out 50% of the stuffing from the back end of it and then shoved it down into the tube and kind of attached this to it just in a couple of places bent the mouth around the way I wanted it to look so that it looks like it's swallowing it. Basically my concept is that Santa's toy bag is going to be on the end and the snake is just going to be sucking the toys right out of the toy bag. So there's the tubing going into the boxes that we made earlier with the styrofoam. It actually worked pretty well. The great stuff that I use is orange in color, so I decided not to paint it. I just left it orange. Again, from the street, it's not going to read, and it was really hard to paint over it. So the styrofoam itself is fairly easy to paint on, but the great stuff, because it has so many holes and everything in it, is really hard to do. The box I just painted all black, and then I taped off and painted the orange. So the tail, I did the same thing as I did with the mouth. I just made the tail out of fabric, just made a cone, and then I actually put it inside a vase that was kind of this shape and filled it with great stuff. So this is actually hard, filled with great stuff, and then after it hardened, I came in and I just kind of glued it to the inside of this with hot glue. It seemed to work pretty well. I mean, it doesn't have to be completely sturdy. It's just going to be sitting on a roof, basically laying on a roof. So you can kind of see here how I did this. I just stuck the tube through, filled it with the great stuff. Then I took a styrofoam shaver tool, sanding tool, and I just came through and I shaved it to kind of a angle that looked like part of his body expanding. And I also did not paint the back of this because it is not important to me. It is not going to show. Now when I put this on the roof, this piece of throwaway wood that I was using had some little screw staple things in it or something. So those are rather sharp. So I wanted to make sure those were not the part that was going to be laying on the roof. I'm probably going to take and put some black felt underneath here just to protect our roof a little. It shouldn't move around, so it shouldn't be a big deal, but just in case it does, I don't want it accidentally either getting black on our roof or scraping the paint on our roof. So you can kind of see here, and then I'll take pictures when it's all finished and post those because it's going to be stretched out. So right now it looks very condensed, but it's going to be stretched out across our roof line, basically. So it's gonna look, I think, pretty cool. I think the wooden boxes ended up looking really nice for the snake expanded packages look. So hope you enjoyed this. It's a pretty easy build to do yourself. If you are interested in any of the details, I'll put a lot of the stuff in the details, the materials I use, the paints, etc., in the link down below or in the subject down below. So thank you so much, and I hope you enjoyed this video.